Now, another thing that caught my there's so much in this book that caught my attention, but one of the things that you talk about is the long teeth.
The long teeth I came across first of all in a Irish saga called the Hags of the Long Teeth. Maybe not saga, maybe folktale. And I've come across it in a few places in German sources as well, where they talk about how as witches get older, their teeth were believed to grow. And this was something that got me interested because I have this long, fascination with Neanderthal people and with early man in general. I just started thinking about the big teeth because that is a thing that differentiates the skull of a Neanderthal person from a Homo sapiens person. And all of these hags, these sort of hideous figures that we are taught are awful, they often are described as having extremely long teeth. And when you start looking at the facial structure that they are described as having, or the typical witch's facial structure, it bears a lot in common with Neanderthal people and with early man in general. There's the hooked, crooked nose, the protruding teeth, the protruding brow. All of that stuff is part of the facial structure of very early humans. And it got me intrigued, and I just started looking at the facial structure in a new way as maybe a memory, and not a logical memory, not the kind of I remember what I did when I was 5 kind of memory, but that sort of ancestral memory that is coming alive in people who practice witchcraft very explicitly, I think exists in the public as well at some level without them realizing it. And this repressed image of this other human that we may have cannibalized, which we may actually have cannibalized, but also metaphorically cannibalized into our own species, but through interbreeding. I feel that image just keeps popping out in different cultures, that it's still in there. It's sort of seething away. I mean, it's 3% at least of our ancestors were Neanderthals, or in some cases, other ancient races of human too. And so that was where the long teeth thing began.
And it makes sense. Again, it all makes sense. We do carry a lot of things that are now fight and flight reactions, anxiety, panic attacks, and that's all linked to our ancestors and running from ferocious animals and things. So that does, the fact that we hold on to that idea, it does. It makes perfect sense.
And it's very intrinsic to our language. Like, you think about what we talk about, we say that that's lowbrow comedy, or that person has a weak chin, so they must have a weak character, or, all of those facial features are linked to problems with people in our mind. Like, that facial structure is not a prestigious thing. And I find that really intriguing. I'm like, why do we feel that? And how far back does that go in our sort of epigenetic memory, where we are capable of sort of remembering things for long periods of time at that intuitive level?